Hi everybody, Cheaply Chic Lynette here. Welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I would share a fun little project with you that I had going on. And these are just some little wooden crates that I picked up at the Dollar Tree recently. I've been wanting to do this project because I know how awesome these little crates hold project life cards. So I finally found them in the spring section of my Dollar Tree. They didn't have them back in the craft section. That's probably just the store itself. I would think typically they would be back with the other wooden items in the craft section. So I'm going to be taking 3 of these wooden crates and attaching them together side by side to create a 3-sectioned crate. I guess one piece is how I would explain it. So here I'm just taking some cheap apple barrel paint from Walmart. I really like this blue color in my craft room. And I'm just going along and I'm painting the inside and the outside of all of the wooden crate parts that won't be glued together. Alright, so I jumped ahead a little bit here in the video. While I do love watching super sped up painting, we didn't need to finish watching all of that crate painting. So I decided that I really want to decoupage some vintage book page in the bottom of these crates. This is something you wouldn't normally see anyway if there are items in the little boxes, but that's okay. I think it's still going to be super cute. Now I will say up front, I don't do a lot of these types of projects, especially here on my channel, but I just thought it would be fun to share it with you guys. So I do have to tweak some mistakes that I make along the way, but I figure why not make the mistakes? Most of us typically make little mistakes here and there anyway, so bear with me as you watch me move through the decoupage process of this video. But I picked this really cute illustration that was out of an old children's poetry book. This one with the little seals here. I think it's seals looking at my screen, but this was out of an old Reader's Digest book, and then I have another one that I think was just a children's poetry book page. I tried to keep the images toward the outside boxes, and then I just really wanted them to all have that ivory vintage paper look, just to keep them similar. So I decided to try my hand at giving it a little bit of a whitewashed, what do you call this, dry brush look with my white chalk paint. Like I said, I don't do this often, so there's my little swoopy white mark there. I do go in later and try to clean that up with some blue paint and make it look a little less obvious, and mostly I'm just getting my technique down here. As you can see, I'm getting a little better at it, and it gets a little better as we go along here. But back to the book pages. I had trimmed them down to fit inside the box, and I did measure the bottom of the box to see, you know, to give me an idea, a reference point for how small I would need to make it on the inside. There I'm trying to fix that blue spot a little bit, but I do go back and trim it, you know, a few times to get it down inside the crate. So here I'm going to use matte gel medium. This is another thing I don't use often. Typically I would reach for the Mod Podge, but I had the matte gel medium in my stash and I wanted to use it because otherwise it's just going to go bad. So this is something that I discovered. I started out here pretty heavy-handed and I didn't need that much product inside of my crate. So when I go in and I add my little book page, I end up getting it a little wrinkly, I guess you could say, when I'm putting it in. I wasn't really happy with the outcome of this. I wish I would have made the matte gel medium a little thinner, but this is just something you have to learn with your products. I'm so used to using Mod Podge or even the Tim Holtz Collage medium, and yeah, so it's just a learning curve. And here I'm going back in with my blue paint because again, I had cut my book page just a little short and I just want to try to hide the bottom of that crate with a little more paint. Okay, so now I want to seal in that book page, so I'm just going to go over that with another layer of the matte gel medium. I'm also going to take the matte gel medium up the sides, the inside of the crate. You can see how I made a couple mistakes applying my book page there to the bottom. It has those wrinkles in the middle of the book page. That is a problem that I solve on the last crate of this project. But what I end up doing, and I'm not sure if I leave it in the video, but after it dries, I go in and I slice those little hills and then I glue it down. Then I go back in with a little bit of matte gel medium, and this is completely after the project's dried altogether. And I slice that little air pocket, I put a little bit of glue in the bottom, and then I press it back down. So in the end, it's still hidden, and I'm pretty happy with it. And again, now you can see here, let's work on half of the page at a time, and maybe we're going to have a little bit of a better outcome with those air bubbles. So one of the things I wasn't exactly happy with this book page is I wish I would have left a little more white space toward the top of the poem, but you know, I feel like this is me picking my project apart, but really I wanted to share this with you because I think it's such a cute project, but it's just me having fun and figuring things out along the way, which really I feel crafting is most of the time anyway. We're not all looking for perfection 100% of the time, so yes. So here you can see I have a couple more of those little air bubbles at the bottom, but in the end I'm going to do the same thing that I just described a minute ago. And third time's a charm, so I'm really happy this book page came out like it did because this was my favorite book page. So I just went a little slower. I added, I think maybe a little bit thinner of a layer, and I just paid attention to make sure to get it on all of the wood. And for some reason I didn't get air bubbles in this one. So if any of you watching this video have any tips for me when it comes to doing things like this, I really don't do it often, but I do enjoy it. I would love to read those tips. If you guys want to give me some pointers, I would love that. So isn't that the cutest book page though? I just love that illustration. So I'm going to seal all of this in with the matte gel medium. And now here I have all 3 of those book pages. So I think I'm showing you here how I tried to trim those air bubbles and press them down a little bit. So yeah, it is what it is. Oh, there's the pretty one. Anyway, moving on. So I have my E6000, and that's what I'm going to use to attach these boxes together. And then I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue just to hold them in place while I'm working with the project. And then we're going to clamp them together. Okay, so I was just showing you there how my little box was already warped to begin with, but it does glue together nicely. So I let that sit overnight and I come back the next day to check out my box and I am in love with it. So I just decided, since it's going to be sitting on my desk, that I wanted to add a little bit of trim to the front of the crates. So I just used my hot glue gun and I'm going to line the front of it with this trim that I did pick up at the Dollar Tree also. It was probably about a year ago now, but man, I love that trim. I hope that I'm, able to find some again sometime because I do use it quite often. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this video. I'm going to show you the project life cards that were my intention and thought with this along the way. I think they fit perfectly. I'm planning on putting this little crate up on top of my letterbox that you can see there in the background. You could glue 6 of these together and create a bigger square of them if you wanted to, just to sort out your little items. But I just thought it was a fun project and I wanted to bring you guys along today. So I hope that you enjoyed watching and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.